The Sacramento Kings have the worst record in the entire NBA, so today I'm adding a new player to their team until they win the championship. The players I add will get continuously better, and I'll add one player, then simulate a season, then add another player, and so on until they win the chip. So the first player I'm adding is Richard Jefferson. He's an 87 overall. He's not exactly a superstar, but he's still the best player in Sacramento. This team still isn't that good, but without injuries, this team might actually do decent with Richard Jefferson. I don't think I mentioned this, but there'll be injuries off for this. Before we get too far into it, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 200 subscribers, so it'd be really nice if you click the button. Alright, I'll check at the end of the season how they did. Alright, so the team did better than they're going to do in real life, but they still only won 35 games and missed out on the playoffs. Richard Jefferson averaged about 19 points in Sacramento. So it's better than the 20 games or less that they're going to win in real life, but still wasn't enough to make the playoffs, so on to the next year. Alright, so the next player we're adding is Marc Gasol. So there's now a dynamic duo of Marc Gasol and Richard Jefferson in Sacramento. Actually, just to help the team out, I'm going to slide Sabonis to the 4, just so that they could all start together. His overall went down 1, but it's fine. I guess let's see how they do. After the addition of Marc Gasol, the Sacramento Kings are in the playoffs. This poverty franchise just won 50 games. Marc Gasol didn't actually put up very good numbers, honestly. 13 points, 10 rebounds. Maybe his shot tendency is just really low. Richard Jefferson averaged 21 though. So a good little duo there, and like I said, they won 50 games and they're in the 5 seed. Alright, so they got a tough matchup in the first round against the Spurs. Alright, it's not looking too good. They're down 3-0. They get a game though. They get 2. And if they win this, then they go to Game 7 with a chance to come back from 3-0 against the San Antonio Spurs. And they're down by 2 with 32 seconds remaining. I'll jump in. Alright, the Kings have the ball. They get it into DeRozan. DeRozan in the mid-range, guarded by Vassell. They've got to actually do something here. DeRozan takes a step through and makes it. So we're tied at 137 with 7.4 to go. They chuck it up to Wemby. Wemby pump fakes, dunks on Marc Gasol with 2 seconds left. So the Kings have a chance to go for the win or the tie here. Otherwise, they lose the series in 6. Jefferson to Sabonis. Sabonis, deep 3. Yeah, that's not going in. Alright, they lost. Alright, so they lost in the first round here, so let's go to the next season. So the next player we're adding to the squad is Tracy McGrady. The big 3 of T-Mac, Marc Gasol, and Richard Jefferson, I feel like this team might be like one of the top teams in the West now. If they were the 5 seed last year, now that they have T-Mac, they should be one of the best teams, I think. The Sacramento Kings are officially contenders. If they win this last game, they'll win 60 games. And they do. They finish as the 2nd seed. 60 wins on the season. Tracy McGrady makes All-NBA 2nd team, averaging 27 points, 5 boards, 6 assists. Marc Gasol putting up pretty similar numbers from last year. And Richard Jefferson averaged 17. The only team that finished with a better record in the West and in the league, I think, was the Thunder. They won 1 more game. Alright, the Kings have to play the Pelicans in the first round. That should be an easy matchup. They won their first playoff series of the video, beating the Pelicans in 4. Now they have a harder matchup against Ant and the Wolves. I could see this series being close for sure. Apparently not, because they just swept them. Alright, now they got to go against 2K's favorite team, the Mavs. On paper, I'd say the Kings are better, which isn't a common statement with the Kings, but this Mavs team isn't really that good. But knowing 2K, they'll probably lose. 2-2, pivotal Game 5 coming up. This game's pretty close so far. The Kings need to win this, and they do. They're up 3-2 in the series now. If they win this game, they go to the finals. And your Sacramento Kings are NBA Finals bound. Tracy McGrady has 31 in the final game. And now they have to play the Knicks in the finals. I could see them winning this matchup, but I could also see them losing it. They lose Game 1, and 2, and 3, and they get swept. At least they made the finals though. Brunson wins Finals MVP, averaging 31. I think if we had one more player, they should be able to win the championship. The next player we're adding is Tim Duncan. He's a 99 overall with the morale boost, and this team is now loaded. The worst starter is now Westbrook, who's still an 80. Everyone else is a player we've added. I feel like this team can now win the championship. They were already contenders last year, but let's see what happens. What a season out of the Sacramento Kings. First in the seeding, first in the power ranking, and they're going to win 67 games. Sabonis won 6th man of the year because he wasn't starting. T-Mac made 2nd team again, averaging 25. And Tim Duncan didn't make All-NBA. Tim only averaged 18 and 11, but I think it's just because there were so many scoring options. And T-Mac is, I guess, more of a pure scorer, so he led the team in scoring. Marc Gasol averaged 12, and Richard Jefferson averaged 16. First seed in the Western Conference. Let's see if they can get it done. But the first round they have OKC, who's the 8th seed somehow. They still beat them easily, but that's like the worst 8th seed matchup you can get. And now they've got the Mavs again in the second round. They beat them in 5. And now they got Ant-Man in the conference finals. They're down 3-0, and they get swept. So they go backwards after adding Tim Duncan. The Knicks win the championship again. Alright, surely they win after we add this next player. Alright, so there's no way they don't win the championship now. I added Michael Jordan to the team. I put Mike at the point guard just so that everyone can start, but they now have Michael Jordan, Tracy McGrady, Richard Jefferson, Tim Duncan, and Marc Gasol as their starting 5. And they've also got all the other best players from the Kings in real life on the bench. Please, Sacramento, I beg of you, please win the championship this year. The team added Michael Jordan and they still couldn't win 70 games. The Sacramento Kings are just poverty. Although maybe I'm speaking too soon because they are still the 1 seed. Tim Duncan made All-NBA, but no one else did. That makes no sense. Like, I understand there's a lot of scoring options, but still. Mike averaged 22. Tim averaged 19 and 12. T-Mac put up 21 and 7. Marc Gasol averaged 11 and 10. And Richard Jefferson averaged 15. They beat the Blazers in round 1 in a sweep. And they beat the Thunder in round 2 in 6 games. And they sweep the Timberwolves to get back to the finals for a rematch against the Knicks. No way, they lost game 1. They win game 2. And they win game 3 as well. And it's now tied at 2-2. Pivotal game 5 in the NBA Finals. Honestly, this shouldn't be close. They have Michael Jordan and Tim Duncan. But I guess because it's the Kings, they have to struggle. They win game 6 though. Game 5, sorry. MJ had 32, 6 and 6. And Gasol had 26 and 13. And Tim Duncan had a 20-20 game. This was an insane game for everyone. T-Mac had 22 too. Game 6, the Sacramento Kings can close things out in the NBA Finals right here. And your Sacramento Kings are NBA champions. Tracy McGrady had 37 in the final game and Jordan had 35. And Michael Jordan wins the Finals MVP, averaging 33, 6 and 5. So it took a lot for the Kings to win, but finally the Sacramento Kings are NBA champions. See you guys in the next one. Bye.